G'day fellas and welcome to an incredibly exciting video. Today I get to talk to you guys about the Ayyubids. They're a variant civilization for the Abbasid dynasty and they're going to be available in the Sultan's Ascend expansion. Now the devs have given me a whole bunch of information about the Ayyubid civilization. I got to get my hands on them in a creator preview and I'm looking forward to bringing you more information about them today. And of course with these beautiful screenshots playing behind me. So this video is going to be in two parts. The first part, I'm going to be talking about the Ayyubids. I'm going to be talking about my experience playing them. I'm going to be talking about how the civilization works and going through their units, going through their new House of Wisdom. And then in the second part, we're going to be taking a look at the photos and looking to try and break them down and try and match up those things that we've talked about with what we actually see in the photos. So let's get to it. So how is the Ayyubid different from the Abbasid dynasty? Great question. Well, first and foremost, think about the Abbasid dynasty. They've got 4 different wings, and each wing provides you technologies. The difference here with the House of Wisdom is that when you choose a wing for the Abbasid dynasty, you choose one of 2 options. So as an example, for the economic wing for the House of Wisdom for the Ayyubids, you can choose between growth or industry. Growth will give you villages, while industry will give you wood. Now, you might be thinking about that like, okay, well, you know, villages sound really, really good, but I don't want them early, and that's fine, because what will happen is as you go up through the ages, those bonuses will increase if you don't take them. So as an example, we start off with the economic wing, and let's say that we go for industry. We pick up 300 wood. Wonderful. But if we instead save that eco wing and we're gonna save it for Imperial Age, instead of being 300 wood, that wood goes to 2,000 wood. It's a massive difference, and it's one of the things that used to happen in Age of Empires 3. For any of you Age of Empires 3 players back there, you'll surely remember it from quite a few of the civilizations where they emulated that. Now, I'm a big fan of that. I really like that. So let's get into it. We'll talk about it and provide you guys a bit of the information that the devs have given me. So what the devs have said. So they say that the Ayyubids get to select between 2 powerful bonuses at each wing when advancing to the next age. The remaining wings will then increase their bonuses for the next age selection, offering endless strategic possibilities. Some present immediate value, while others bring long-term investment opportunities. The major strength of the Ayyubids is their ability to adapt their House of Wisdom to fit their needs. And I think that's exactly right. The devs have nailed it there 100%. So we'll talk about the units in a little bit, but let's focus on the House of Wisdom right now. So we've talked about the economic wing, and obviously you can already think of some big differences, right? Like if you open up with 3 villages versus 300 wood, because they're your options, and obviously those numbers are going to change, right? Like you start with, or the numbers that we've got might. Don't worry about the numbers, just worry about what they do. Eco wing, I've told you about that, growth and industry. The military wing, you've got reinforcements and master smiths. So reinforcements regularly produces desert raiders at the House of Wisdom. So think of it kind of like a military school that the Ottomans get, except it produces the unique unit, the desert raider. And whereas the other technology, or the other wing, I guess it's the other choice. I don't know if you really know what to call it, because you're picking a military wing, but then it's a choice. It's called master smiths, and that instantly researches blacksmith technology. So it's pretty damn nice to have as well. For the culture wing, you've got 2 options, just the same as everything else: advancement and logistics. So advancement is cheaper and faster to age up with. So really good if you're in a jiffy. Age of Empires 3 players will remember the Exiled Prince. Same sort of thing, except it's cheaper as well. So really nice age up to have. Whereas logistics will produce a group of dervishes at the House of Wisdom and empowers their unique ability, which is called Mass Heal. So dervishes, I don't know if there's any information I can give you guys about the dervish right now, so I'm just going to say, oh, that's a cool unit. You guys will like it. Trade wing. So you get to choose between Bazaar or the Bazaar. Depends how you want to pronounce it, but essentially the market, Bazaar, and advisors. They're your choice. So the Bazaar will unlock the ability to hire units and purchase resources from neutral merchants that arrive at the House of Wisdom. Choosing advisors will produce a group of Atabeg advisors, they're called, which can garrison in any military production building to improve the units that are trained there. So one of the things that I guess was still in discussion, and obviously we'll have to see it when it comes out, but the trade wing was quite interesting, because the Bazaar, the way it worked was that, so I'll read it again for you guys. It unlocks the ability to hire units and purchase resources from neutral merchants that arrive at the House of Wisdom. So basically, when you age up with the trade wing, it gives you a whole bunch of neutral traders, and it unlocks random trades for you in your House of Wisdom, and then you can trade one of those merchants for one of the trades. And you like, as an example, you might have, say, 6 merchants, and you'll have the option for 8 different trades, and you can pick whichever one you want. And they're all favorable trades, right? Like 100 gold for 200 wood, right? Like, who's not going to take that? But then it's like, well, do I take that, or do I take the 4 villagers for 100 gold? So there's all these different options that you get. And the one thing I didn't like about it was RNG, because if you got really good ones, it was insane. Like, I remember talking to, I think it was Wham, and he was mentioning the fact that he got like 3 trade offers at the same time, and he was just like he purchased like 18 traders, and it's like, it's crazy, right? Like, imagine just getting 18 traders overnight. So obviously balance is going to be one factor in here, but it's a super duper cool mechanic. I love it, and it really inspires or makes me think a lot about Age of Empires 3 when it comes to the current mechanics with the House of Wisdom. But let's move on from the House of Wisdom. It's obviously incredibly exciting to have these new mechanics that really encourage the way that you play. Actually, you know what? Before we do that, I do want to talk about the economic wing for the House of Wisdom, because I'm confident a lot of people will love this. So, I mean, I don't know how much I can say, but essentially, you could take the early wood that industry would provide you from the economic wing, and you could make a TC in like 4 minutes and 15 seconds. It was so crazy. It was awesome. It was really, really cool. So I'll just put that out there. You guys are going to love it. Anyway, let's move on to the units. So they've got unique units, of course. Number 1 is the Desert Raider. So they have both a sword and a bow. It's a versatile camel unit. So you can switch it back between ranged mode and melee mode. Which is kind of cool when you think about it. And so it's also available from the archery range and the stable. So it doesn't matter which way you open up, you're always going to have access to them. Obviously, when you compare it to, say, to a Hussar. We've been talking so much Age of Empires 3. It just came back to me. If you to compare like the Desert Raider to, say, a horseman or to an archer, for its cost, it's not going to be anywhere near as effective as what those units would be. But obviously the idea is that you're able to switch between what you need at any point. If your enemy's spamming longbows at you, then all of a sudden you can switch it over and bam, you're melee all of a sudden. But if there's range, or if there's spearmen coming at you, then you switch it back to range, and all of a sudden you're able to kite them. Really, really cool. Next thing, it's the big boy. It's the guy on the front cover. It is the Tower of the Sultan. This guy is insane. He's really, really expensive. A huge amount of resources. It rams buildings, and at the same time, it's firing arrows. And you can garrison inside it. Yeah, it's kind of wild. I have seen these things just, well, look, I can't get too much into it, not because of the NDA, but because this is a family-friendly show, and what I witnessed was adult content. The next thing to talk about is the Camel Lancer. So it has a tactical charge which deals more damage the further it travels before impact. So it also charges more frequently, and it can charge from further away than the Lancer it replaces. So some really, really cool units. And I will also say that while these units are the unique units for the civilization, these aren't the only unique units that the Civ has, and they're not the only unique units that the Civ has available to it, if that makes sense. So anyway, they've also got a unique mangonel, which is called the Manjanik. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. I probably butchered it, so apologies to everybody who actually knows how to pronounce it. But that's essentially it for the units. So we talked about the House of Wisdom. We talked about the units. Let's just quickly touch on the civilization just for a little bit. So, at the confluence of continents, where trade and science meet, and where empires clash, the Ayyubids use their pursuit of knowledge to gain the upper hand. The House of Wisdom is the focal point of this combination of urbanization and science, unlocking powerful Golden Age bonuses and advancing through the ages. The Ayyubids focus on versatile units to gain a tactical advantage on the battlefield. The Ayyubids possess powerful camel cavalry. Jeez, that's a tongue twister right there. Camel cavalry that lay waste to enemy armies, while their imposing siege weapons flatten defenses. With the calculated use of unique abilities, the Ayyubids can dismantle their opponent's strategies and tear into their forces. So there you guys go. Let's get into these screenshots, though. Obviously, they've been playing this entire time. Let's break them down and see what we can spot for it. All right, now we move on to the second part of the video. I tell you what, it's been so long since I've done an edited video. It is, it feels kind of weird recording this not in one session. But anyway, this is the flag here for the Ayyubids. It's a nice looking flag. I tell you what, it is going to stand out from all the other ones. Quite distinguished. And we move on to the next image, which is a lovely picture. I think this one might come from the campaign, judging by the shields of the gentleman across from our protagonists in the center. This one was actually leaked onto Reddit a little bit earlier in the week, so good job if you managed to catch that. Let's take a look at the next one. So we have got ourselves an economic wing at the House of Wisdom. So not a whole lot to talk about here, realistically. You see a couple of villagers around the House of Wisdom. You see a couple of spearmen, a couple of horsemen. Everything's in feudal though, so it is just nice and simple. The details here on each of the wings, they look very, very similar from the to the Abbasid ones. So it's kind of hard to tell the difference between them. I'll be honest with you, I can't even really tell the difference between this and the Abbasid one. This could literally be the Abbasid one, and I wouldn't know. Let's move on to the next image. So here we go. This is the culture wing that we're able to witness right now. And you can see we've got some brand new units already coming up. So we're in the castle age, it seems, even though I can only see the one wing, which is kind of weird. But we've got veteran spearmen. We've got veteran horsemen over here. Actually, hold on. Are these veteran spearmen? And then these spearmen over here aren't veteran? Oh, no, it's the angle. Never mind. And then we've got veteran horsemen. And then we've got our desert raiders right here. So these desert raiders are the ones that can flip from being melee to being ranged. And then over on here, we've got the Camel Lancer, which are those brand new heavy camel units. So incredibly exciting. And there is one unit that you might be able to spot that's a little bit different. Not like the others. Ladies and gentlemen, have a look at this bad boy right here. So this one's if I remember correctly, it's exclusively available at the Culture Wing, but I may be remembering incorrectly. So it is the Dervish, and they've got the ability to do the mass heal. So you can see they're very religious in the way that they look. Very, very cool though. If I remember, they're quite fast as well, the way that they move around. So that's gonna be your culture wing for you. Let's jump into the next wing, which is going to be the trade wing. So we do get to see quite a bit going on in this screenshot. Have a look at this. I think, are we in the Imperial Age here? I feel like we might be in the Imperial Age. We're looking very regal here. But one of the first things that you will see here are the neutrals, or the neutral merchants that have arrived. So they don't have any color on them, so anybody can use them. I'm just kidding, they can't really. But that would be a cool mechanic. It'd be first in, best dressed. But anyway, these are the neutral merchants that I was talking about earlier, in that you can do the favorable trades with them, and you only get to pick so once you use a trade, then the merchant disappears. But if I remember correctly, they continue to respawn every couple of minutes. But that's probably all subject to change, so I probably shouldn't have said that. Anyway, we keep on moving on. We've got our camel raiders here. Our camel raiders, sorry, apologies. Our desert raiders. We've got desert raiders and camel lancers. So they're pretty close to each other. We've got a horseman down here at the front, at the back here. Nice with their elite upgrades. You can always tell by the gold in their helmet. And once again, over here, we've got some elite spears. And everybody's nice and upgraded here. So now we move on to the last wing. It looks like we've got, what is that's got to be the, that's the Camel Lancer right there. You can tell by the size of his lance, his joust. It's a pretty big one. But speaking of big ones, I tell you what, you're about to see a big one pretty damn soon. Let's go over onto the next wing. It's going to be the military wing. There it is. So all of the wings look pretty similar to me, except for the culture wing is the only one I can really tell apart. Here we can see the eco wing next to it as well. And it looks like we've got... hold on. I'm looking at these units. I mean, we're breaking this down. Like, we're going to do screenshot by screenshot, but I just want to compare this, right? Because... these guys are veteran. These guys are... okay, so we're not in the Imperial Age yet, but I'm just looking at the armor that these camels have got. Do we have any other Castle Age camels? Because these are Imperial camels. Or sorry, Imperial Raiders. These ones here are the Imperial Raiders. Oh, no, here. Okay, so they just must be the Castle Age ones. I was getting excited for a little bit because I thought there might have been skins. Because the devs haven't told me anything about skins yet. So I was like, you know, I'm kind of hoping out for it still a little bit. But anyway, let's move on. So that's your military wing. Nothing too crazy, nothing out of the ordinary. Just looks like your standard Abbasid kind of base, right? Like, but remember that the Civ will play very, very different. And one of the keys to playing different is going to be this guy right here. So we get a beautiful little picture of him Obviously, this guy is the Desert Raider. So I'll read it once again for you. So it wields both a sword and a bow. It's a versatile camel unit available at the archery range and the stable, and it's capable of switching between ranged and melee combat stances. So very, very cool. We don't see anything else really here. Maybe like the trader down here, it kind of looks like. Anyway, next picture. There you go. Get to see some of those beautiful camel lances up close and personal. Look how long those lances are. Tell you what, I wouldn't want to be a palace guard right there. And does that look like a Chinese palace guard to you, or does that look like it might be something a little bit different? Maybe they're teasing us a little bit here with some of the new Chinese variant, perhaps. I'm not 100% sure, but it doesn't. There's something on here that just says I'm not the OG Chinese. Anyway, let's focus over here. So we've got gold helmets on. This is what the Imperial Age camel lancers will look like. And now, for the biggest of boys, ladies and gentlemen, I introduce you to the Tower of the Sultan. Have a look how big that is. It's hard to kind of grasp the size of this thing. That's what she said. Just simply because you're so close up to it. That's what she said. The last time I saw one this big, sorry, okay, I'll stop. This thing's huge. It is absolutely massive. So it does siege damage. So that battering ram that it's got on the front there, it's very good at penetrating defenses. Sorry. It fires a huge load of arrows. Okay, I'm never coming back from this. Sorry. God, this has been terrible. All right, anyway. I'll read you what it says. The Tower of the Sultan fires arrows while ramming down buildings. Their words, not mine. Their words, not mine. Costing immense amounts of resources to produce, this lumbering siege weapon demolishes enemy cities and is extremely difficult to take down. There you guys go. So that is it. It is going to be hilarious to watch this unit come out. I tell you what, I saw Fitzbro make 45 of these in one game. He was having a great time. He was having a great time. It was beautiful. So that is going to be it. That rounds out our units. I don't think we've got any more screenshots for you. Oh, never mind. There we go. There we do. We've got one last one with all of the wings together. Culture wing, trade wing, eco wing, military wing, and nothing too out of the ordinary. We see, we see absolutely everything. I can see that we've got elite upgrades coming through. I see the market at the top, monastery, university over towards that left side. Siege workshop, blacksmith, barracks. I mean, they got one of every single building here by the looks of it. So that's pretty much it. I can't see anything, any little Easter eggs. Maybe I've missed it, but it all seems pretty standard to me. Anyway, that is going to be it for you. If you've got any questions, let me know down below. If you've got any comments, make sure to leave them. And of course, if you haven't already pre-ordered the Sultan's Ascend expansion pack, I'll be leaving a link in the pinned comment where you can pre-order it and you can purchase it. I had a guy actually comment a couple of videos back, and he's like, just so you know, like, pre-orders are really anti-consumer, and you shouldn't be encouraging people to pre-order. And look, I'm just gonna say right now, I've had my hands on it. I know what it tastes like. I know I know what it feels like, and I can assure you it is top quality stuff. For the price that you're paying, I reckon they could have charged double and I probably wouldn't have complained. So it is absolutely chef's kiss. Anyway, we'll get to it and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.